We're going to start up here today. I know we were getting ready to start probably, it was about a year and a half ago, we were going to start next level financing, but the divorce wasn't quite over with, and I was advised to shut it all down. Just was still going through it. I know we had a couple things that were coming up. We had the make a million in a year challenge and those types of things, a lot of exciting things. But I was told to shut all that down, advised by my lawyer, just for the simple fact that when you're in a divorce and you're still going through it, you shouldn't be going through and talking about these things. These things can be brought up in court. So we are back on it now. We're not completely ready yet. We still have to put together some of the lessons, but just an introductory here about what we're going to be doing in the show. We're going to be talking about ways to make money, and most importantly, ways to keep money. We're going to be talking about things like investing and books to read, those types of things. We're going to talk about current news, just the simple things that are going on. And I'm excited to get back started. It's been crazy this entire time, but just to be able to come back here and be able to get back to business and just have all those things behind you feels great. I'm very happy about that. But like I said, we're going to continue this. I'm going to work on everything I can to make a good show. It's just thrown together right now. We're just raggedy right now, but as soon as I was able to get started on this and I got the clearance, I wanted to come up and start talking and just start getting everything going. Like I said, I want people to know how to budget. The show will get better as we go. The graphics will get better. The camera will get better. The layout will get better. Everything will get better. But for right now, we're just streaming things along and just throwing it together, just getting started. Like I said, it's all it's all going to come together as we go. It will get much better as we go. But the important thing is always to start. That's the important thing. Get things started, get things going. And that's what we're doing now. So let's keep it going. Let's keep everything pushing as fast as possible. Today, I wanted to talk about a little bit of investments you all should be making and thinking about as these gas prices go up and shoot through the roof. Now, gas prices are crazy right now. Money's crazy right now as far as just making it. Everybody's getting pushed out of their jobs. I told, I'm here in the Bay Area in San Francisco, and I'm usually back and forth between here and San Francisco for work. I come out here for things that deal with technology, a lot of stationary work. Some of it has to deal with new rides. Some has to deal with cybersecurity. A lot of those things we work in up here, and in LA is kind of my family. My daughter, which is my family. So I go back and forth there, and we do business out there too. But just everything that's going on right now, the important thing is just not to panic, to stay as calm as possible. Understand that AI is here and it's here to stay. It's the genie out of the bottle. There's nothing we can do about it. I told friends of mine actually. I had several friends that were in coders, and I said, look at this. This it's gonna be gone soon. Look what I can do. He's like, oh well, it's not that bad. Look at it. It doesn't code as well. I'm like, yeah, but it's going to get better. It's going to get better. Like you can edit this code. Well, it's a lot of stuff you got to go through the code and edit. I'm like, you're dipping your head in the sand, man. This is gonna happen. And sure enough, here comes the wave. They start wiping everybody out, start getting rid of people. And I told them, look, these people are just being nice. They're just being nice right now. It's all just we're gonna be nice. We're gonna slowly get rid of people and slowly get rid of them, and it's gonna happen. Now, as far as AI taking over the world and all this stuff, that's not gonna happen. Not at least not by itself. It's not gonna be AI coming in here and then getting a mind of its own and coming and taking over and destroying people. I don't think that's what's gonna happen. I think what's gonna happen is it's gonna be people using the AI. So people using the AI are going to do things, and maybe they'll trick you, make you think it's AI doing it itself, but it's not going to be AI doing it itself. It's people using AI to do those things. So what AI is going to ultimately do though is just take your job. I've said this several times. I've made videos about it probably 3, 4 years ago about AI is coming to take your job. That's it. They just want to get rid of the human aspect of people. Forget the human aspect. We don't need the human aspect. We don't need people taking breaks. We don't need people getting tired and forming unions and getting upset and going to the boss and suing because they feel like they've been, discriminated against, and like all that is costs money. And if a business person can eliminate that, they're going to do it. They're going to get rid of the whole reason for even having people. Just it's a pain. They don't show up to work. They need to take vacations. They get tired. Little things like that. So, in order to eliminate that all the way and come up with a process to where you don't have to worry about that and you can double your income, triple your income, and then have it work 24 hours a day, that's what's going to happen. They're going to get rid of people. And there's nothing you can do to stop it. The genie's out the bottle. But what you can do is you can work with AI. You can become one of the people that learns to use AI in your favor. You could become one of these people that learns to use the service. Here's the problem with some of these big companies, and a lot of these big companies always the issue is that they just don't know how to use it properly. So if you can learn how to use the AI properly in your favor and take it to another level, even use it for yourself on your own projects, that's where the value is going to come in. And this has happened throughout time. There's never been a time in history where there hasn't been some type of technology coming in and people getting scared. Like the locomotive comes in, the car comes in and replaces horses. The locomotive comes in, the trains, radio, internet, all these things come in. Technology will always come in and remove people from their jobs. Now, with that, also there's also a bubble. Now, I believe there's going to be an AI bubble that's going to bust eventually. There's going to be an AI bubble that busts somewhere. Now, how that's going to work, I haven't quite figured that out yet, but you have a machine that can just create anything. You go in and you make this command in English, and then it codes it for you, and then it builds a website or it builds an app, in minutes. Now it doesn't quite work the best. Don't think it's that easy. Don't think you just say build this app and then it builds the app and it works automatically. Okay, that's not how it works. At least not at this point. I'm not saying it won't get to that point, but for right now, it doesn't work like that. Right now, you have to take the time to actually build the app, and then there's backend that needs to be built, and there's these other platforms that say you can build the app in minutes, but you can't really do it, and then you have to build it on their platform, and then you got to pay a monthly fee. So there's always something kind of attached to it to where you're not completely free, at least not right now. Now I'm not saying that won't change in the future. It could very well change in the future, but as of right now, that's not the case. Um, as far as the future, what does it look like to me? Well, the future with AI and money is going to create so many, and this is cliche. It's going to create so many more millionaires so much faster. That's true. That's true. But it's also going to make it to where eventually everybody can just build whatever they want. Everybody can build their own Facebook. Everybody can build their own Instagram. Everybody will just be able to build their own stuff just with a command, a prompt command. And if you get really good at it, you can build something that can um, take somebody's users away and then build a better platform. So where's the value going to come at on this internet thing? And the value is going to come in hard assets. Now, hard assets. What do I mean by hard assets? I mean, you know, tangible things, things that you can touch, things that you can and sell that are physical on the internet. I believe it'll come there. As far as intangible assets in the future, what I feel like the most intangible thing you can have in the future is going to be branding. and domain names. Domain names is going to be so huge in the future. Whoever possesses and owns a domain name that's really popular, that's going to be your branding off the top. So, you have the domain name that's worth so much, and then you go to have something created underneath it, and it's something people are going to type in and be searching, and it'll come up on the results because the domain name is very popular. So now, I know you would go buy a domain name and then somebody would be selling it and say you got to call them to check. Well, now they have it set up to where when you go to look for a domain name, it might not be bought up, but guess what? Now it's considered a prime or whatever they call it type of domain. So because it's a prime domain, what that means is that they're going to charge you 5,000 for it. So nobody even bought it yet, but you know what? If you're going to buy it, you got to pay them for it. Now, I don't know what rule that when that came in, because it kind of upset me because like I'm looking for domain names that I want to buy to use for my own company, and I'm happy with the domain name I ended up with for my application that I'm building. But at the end of the day, there were domains I looked up that I felt I should have been able to buy at a regular price. And for the simple fact that this AI generates this code which says that this domain is worth or is prime or this domain is worth or would be worth a lot, it's worth $4,000. So you're saying that I have to pay $4,000 for this domain that nobody has because you have something that generated it that said it's going to be worth a lot or it's a prime domain or it's searched a lot on the internet. So yeah, you have to pay this amount, which I think is crazy. I think that's crazy. And but either way, either you're going to deal with that or you're going to deal with somebody else buying a domain name and saying you need to pay me $4,000 for it. So you're going either way. But looking past that, the value is going to be in domain names and the value is going to be in tangible products. That's just how it's going to work in the future. And you need to be able to learn and unlearn because things are going to change so fast. Now, they've talked about this thing called universal income. Universal income, I don't know. Who knows how that's going to work? That's going to be some kind of change where they just give everybody an allotment of money, or maybe they pay for something or take care of housing, or I'm not quite sure how it's going to work, but something has to be done. Something has to be done. What's going to be done? We don't know because eventually AI is going to wipe out everybody's job. Just the majority, and when I say everybody's job, I'm being a bit extreme. It's going to wipe out enough jobs to where there's a significant in the work market, where there's a significant dip in the work market. And the problem is this: when you take people's jobs, they don't have money to spend. So now that job is taken, how are they going to pay for rent? How are they going to buy products? How's that going to keep the economy moving? The economy's not going to move. The economy's not moving. Then this economy, they're not getting any money. Okay, so they're not getting money. Then the tax man's not getting any money. The tax man's not getting any money. America's not getting any money. So in order to be able to keep our economy moving, which money is just something for us to play with once you have enough to pay for everything. It's just paper currency trading. You know, it, it, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter anymore. What's going to happen? You're not going to be able to buy your toys. You're not going to be able to, you know, the money's are going to freeze up. Everybody's going to freeze up. Everybody's going to go stalemate. We're going to fall into, I would say, deflation, just for the simple fact that, you know, the price of things are going to just have to drop in order for people to even buy anything. So people rather have inflation than deflation. Inflation is a little bit more tolerable than deflation because then everybody's sitting around waiting on the price to drop. They rather keep those prices high and keep moving in that direction. But eventually, something's going to give. Now, what I think a great investment will always be in any economy, anything. The best investment is going to be a multi-unit property. Me personally, I believe that. Now, that's if you know what you're doing. Multi-unit property. I believe that's going to hold. I believe somebody will. People will always need a place to live. And people always need a place to live. They're going to have to pay some type of rent. So, getting the best property you can get for your money in the best location is going to be the safest thing to do. Because the simple fact is this: even if prices drop, if you have a desirable area, the price of that might drop. But at the same time, people will always want to live in that area. So people will always want to be there. There'll always be demand for that area. Doesn't matter whether that price drops from $1 million to half a million to 1,000. Guess what? Even though your price dropped, everybody else's price dropped way more. You could still get $1,000 where somebody else might not be able to get anything but 50 bucks. So, and that's an extreme example, but I just wanted everybody to understand that. So, always, always, always important to look at it in that perspective. What's the most valuable thing to do? Most valuable thing to do is to get a multi-unit property. A multi-unit property, you can always put people in there. I know in certain areas it's hard to deal with certain tenants, but you're going to always have some cons to the pros. You're going to have to find a formula of how to choose people to put in there. I know there's laws, especially here in California, that go against people that buy these things. But guess what? They're there to protect the tenant also. People need to be protected also. So it's not all bad. And it's beneficial if you could do it correctly. So we have that. Like I said on the show, we're going to talk about other things. Right now, like I said, it's raw right now. I just wanted to get started. I was just so, excited to be able to kind of come out here now because I've been holding back so much just due to everything that's been going on. But now we're out. Now we're talking. This is going to be short. We're going to start trying to do segments probably early in the morning, starting, I don't know whether we're going to start at these three times. We might start at 6 Pacific Standard Time, 7 or 8. We're going to start early in the mornings. I'm going to have it set up better to where we'll have stuff we can pull up, some news stuff, just talking about money, next level finance. We're going to have subjects every single time. Budgeting. I believe budgeting is going to be so important, and budgeting is important to keeping money because it doesn't matter how much money you have if you spend it all. Trust me, you could have $1 billion. There's people that go broke all the time trying to overdo their lifestyle and outlive who they are. And, you know, or even divorce. Divorce takes your money too. And it takes a big chunk of it. And if you end up getting a divorce, there's nothing you can do about, you know, them taking money. You're going to take a loss in a divorce. I don't care which side you're on. I don't care you're the man or the woman or whatever it is you are. You're going to take a loss. It's going to be taken. You have to be able to shield yourself and prepare for that because there are certain things that come in as far as bankruptcies. If you want to avoid bankruptcy, you're going to have to try and make a negotiation because you got to understand divorce is a liquidation sale. They're gonna try and liquidate everything you have. They're gonna subpoena your accounts. That's just what's gonna happen. And you can fight against it all you want. There's no time limit on divorce. They'll extend it and keep it going. You gotta understand, it's a business to them. That's how they make money. That's how they feed their families. So when you look at it in that perspective, you gotta understand that you gotta play some type of defense. But enough about the divorce thing. The best thing is the best way to budget and the best way is to live below your means. So you take those time, you live below your means. Always live below your means in every fashion way possible. I have a book on budgeting, and it's okay, fine. I'm pretty good at budgeting. I'm very good at handling money and saving and investing and kind of figuring things out. But for the most part, we'll talk about all those things in the future. I'll put together a much better show. I'll put together a much because I'm kind of just rambling right now, but it's the first show and I just want to get one out. I'll put together a much better show next time. We'll have it set up to where we'll have the microphone here. We'll get it to the point where we have guests speaking. We'll get it to the point where it'll be something where it'll change your life. And you should definitely follow this channel. It'll change your life as far as financially, and whether it makes you wealthy or it just helps you maintain what you have, it's important. And like I said, I'm not a person that wears jewelry or fancy stuff or all that stuff. I'm very practical, but I'm comfortable in my skin that way. Even if you're a person that wears that jewelry and all that stuff, I can still show you how to actually maintain that to where it makes sense. By using the tax laws properly, writing things off, and not going past your means as far as your living expenses. So that's going to be a quick stream for today. I'm going to get to work on some other things. We'll be back here tomorrow. Hopefully, yeah, I'm still not sure about the time, but we'll eventually get it down. And I would say probably give me a couple weeks of doing this, and then we'll have a solid show going. But until then, take care.